Hello and welcome to the Digital Foyer. Mass has ended, but we're going to stick around and have a little bit of a conversation here. I'm Matt Vaughn, the Communications Coordinator here at St. Benedict Parish, and I'm glad to be with you this Sunday morning. I'm glad that you joined us for Mass today. I am joined today on my left, Deacon David Viscount, who's here for, I believe it's your second to last week. Is that right? I don't want to...
Thanks for reminding me, Matt.
I know. I keep doing this.
That's the penultimate.
It is the penultimate.
Is that the right word?
No.
Yes.
Penultimate weekend.
I have 6 masses left. How's
Six
that?
masses left. Okay.
Now it sounds like you're looking forward to it, like you're going to retire or something. It's like you're Xing off the masses there.
Should we hang his jersey, or
I guess we're going to have to.
Yeah. Take it to
hang
the
his
rafters.
Dalmatic?
Well, I
Take
think
the
we used,
Dalmatic, put it to the rafters.
you know, classically you
Somewhere
would
over
put it in like some sort of stained glass. So you had to replace a stained glass window with like a little Deacon David soccer jersey with a logo or a number in there, maybe. Who knows? Well, anyway, put in the comments there any ideas you have to honor Deacon David putting his jersey in the rafters, etc. We won't actually do that. I feel like I have to make that clear. We won't actually do that. On my right, Father Simon Lobo, preacher, celebrant, presider, celebrant of the same word. I mean homilist.
Homilist.
Yes, pastor.
Man of all tasks.
2-time Emmy nominee. He didn't win, but I was glad that you were
Famous author.
nominated.
I keep getting nominated,
Yes.
but I never win.
You are an author. That's true. Yes, you're the author there.
And I think you also did vocations for the companions at one point. Did you
I
not?
became a vocation for the companions.
Right.
No, I never was the vocation director. That's a
Right.
position
No,
we
but-
have in our community where one priest
You seem
is
to be.
assigned to help promote vocations. I've never done that. Not especially good at it.
They usually get like a young, exciting priest. People
I
are
know.
excited.
It's like people look at me and they're like, they see this face, like, you're saying I'm going to end up looking like that guy? Like,
Right.
no thanks.
Now,
So,
in fairness, when you were first ordained, you had a lovely full head of hair.
I did.
So it was a slightly different kind of experience
That ship
visually.
has sailed.
Yeah,
That
it's all gone.
vocational, promotional ship
Yeah.
has sailed. So
I wonder if when you were ordained a priest, if you saw yourself in 10 years, if your first reaction would be, oh, I'm like bald. That's crazy. That'll happen.
I'm not that futuristic,
Right.
As a person in general. So no, I was not projecting
Right.
what my head of hair would be or not be. So.
Right. So yeah, this is a time where we get to, not talk about
You know what?
hair or
I'm
heads or
really
anything like
glad.
that.
Can I just say I'm
Please.
really glad that a little moment of levity, and if it's at the expense of my hair, or what, I'm not the
Or
only
lack of.
one. By the way, I just want to point out
Yeah.
there's some other clergy around here who are follically-
Marriage sometimes affects
follically
the
challenged.
follicle.
You know what? The thing I will
situation.
say, something I often think about here, I think we have one of the more physically fit clergy team here at St. Benedict Parish comparatively.
In the world,
Between you
maybe.
guys, well, honestly, right? I mean, like priests famously don't take care of themselves super well. No offense if you're a priest who's doing that. It's tough. It's hard. You have all these lovely nonas who are giving you lasagna and things like that. That might be a bit, I'm assuming too much about, if you're from a place with a lot of Italian people there. But anyway, but
real.
here,
It's a
I mean, all our priests, they're soccer players or referees. And anyway, so, hair, who cares? You guys are all, you're all fit. You're gonna live to be 120, which is great.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's be good.
God willing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, where I was going with that is,
Yes, please.
it's just nice to have a laugh, and that's part of the reason for the Digital Foyer, just to be human and to laugh.
Yeah.
I was reflecting on this. I was like, oh man, after I preached last night at the 4 p.m. Mass on Saturday, I was like, these poor people. I once again, I suck all the air out of the room, preaching on a very heavy subject on residential schools. My last 2 homilies before that were on euthanasia. And then the homily before that, I also mentioned residential schools. I'm like, these poor people must think like Father Simon is he's just going to keep whacking us with one heavy thing after another. So from now on, I'm just going to preach on puppies and butterflies. That's going to be, no, but I mean, I say that it's important to laugh. I hope I'm not in the depths of despair or anything.
Right.
But I do feel we're living through heavy times, and it's important to talk about these things head on, and I hope it helps. I know I'm not perfect, and I'm not the final word on any of this stuff, but I do hope it helps. But just so you know, it's not going to be week after week of like hammering you with one heavy subject after another. I felt I needed to say that.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair to talk about as well there. And we know we hold these things. We're people, and we have to deal with heavy issues, and we talk about serious things, and we try to talk about both here in the Digital Foyer. So yeah, feel free. Ask some questions here. Now, we had some questions earlier, Father Simon, which you mostly addressed here at the end with the announcements, talking about people were wondering, hey, is there a chance that this will be live streamed, this listening session on Thursday. Can you speak a little bit about why we wouldn't necessarily
Sure.
to do that?
Yeah, I thought about it, and a fair question. I know we're living in this digital world where we're starting to be able to come back in person in Nova Scotia, and there's people online and people living far away who maybe would like to be part of the conversation. And I think just because it's so sensitive, it's so raw, I think it would really change the tone if there's camera men going around and filming it and it's streaming online, going on YouTube or Facebook. I think it just won't feel as safe. I want people to be able to come and just share. And I want it to happen in a respectful way, in a way that we're genuinely trying to listen and hear one another. But I don't want people to feel like they're on camera. Smile, you're on camera. Because I think then they'll not feel free to really share. And the whole point is to allow people to come as you are, share what's going on in your heart, and let's work through this together as a family. And part of the idea of it is, I think so often when I think of families that are dysfunctional, they don't talk about the heavy things. When bad things happen, they try to sweep it under the carpet. I don't want us to be that kind of family. I want to create the space to talk about it, but I think, at least for right now, this session on Thursday, it's going to be in person in the church, with following all the COVID protocols. But don't worry, you don't have to register ahead of time. But with that said, I guess I don't know if we're going to have hundreds and hundreds of people who want to come. Yeah. We pretty much cap out at about 150, 200 people who can fit in the church with social distancing. So I guess show up early would be my other thing if you're hoping to come.
I have a question here. Someone asks, I've had a hard time understanding how single life is a calling. Can you explain this calling a little bit? So question about the single life. Can you speak to that, Father Simon? Maybe Deacon David? Deacon David says no. Well, he's married, so
he's got two vocations going on. This guy double dipping. Just remind us, again, I know you said it in your homily there.
Well, holy orders, because deacons are ordained,
right.
And then marriage. So as I said in my homily, because there is suffering with all vocations, so if I have two vocations, I suffer twice as much as most people.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
And I'm gonna just plant a little, if you want to hear the other side of that story, join us next week on the Digital Foyer, because one of Deacon David's vocations is going to be showing up. I think I gave away a little bit of surprise, but
that's right. Archbishop Mancini's coming back. In fairness to Deacon David, he didn't say that his suffering was any way related to his wife. I mean, there's also the reason you was like. I think maybe you're
That's true. That's true.
Can you speak to single life as a vocation there?
Sure. It's a great question. So, here's the first thing I'll say. We are all on a journey towards heaven. This life that we're experiencing right now is temporary. All right? I hope you know that. You're going to die at some point, and some of us are closer to that point than others. But our vocations here, the calling God has for us, they're all temporary. Even when I think of marriage, Jesus says, in heaven, no one is going to be married or given in marriage, because the purposes of marriage are really to help your spouse get to heaven and to raise children to get them to heaven. Once you're in heaven, you don't have to do that anymore. So, I mean, we're going to have... I don't know how it's going to work in heaven. We're going to have these special relationships where it's all going to be harmonious and wonderful, worshiping God. But in many ways, these vocations are they're ways in which we step into service to prepare us on this journey towards heaven. And I think for people who are single, and I know there's a lot of people who are single right now, and I want you to know, you have a vocation. Maybe it feels different because it's not sacrament like marriage or holy orders, but it's real. I could point it to you for marriage as well. You're married, Matt.
Hello, yes, that's right.
You're in that vocation. But single life, it's also, you can think of it like a temporary vocation. It's this journey, but it's no less real and no less important, where there's this kind of waiting and preparing for heaven. And on the way, as I said in my homily, you're not distracted by some of the other things that other people in different vocations are. As a priest, I'm super busy doing all kinds of priest stuff, and And Matt, I can't even imagine. I think even more so than me, being a husband and a father of 2 little ones, like you've got a very full life, right?
Yeah. I've seen your schedule though. I don't know if it's pretty close, honestly.
Is it close? Okay.
I think
So, with somebody who's single, I'm sure, your schedule can fill up as well. You can be very busy, but there's a way in which you can live your life being not just single, not just like, oh yeah, I couldn't find anybody to date or marry or whatever, so I guess like too bad I'm single. No, like see yourself as being single for Jesus. And in a way, like where priests or even nuns, the world has written us off in many ways. Like people find out I'm a priest, they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to talk to that guy. But if you're single, if you're working in the world, you have like a normal job, so to speak, you can be in the world, but not of the world, as I said. So you can really be kind of like a secret missionary in the world, witnessing to Jesus wherever you are, in your workplace, among your friends. And that's one other thing, like every single human being in whatever vocation, we need relationships, we need intimacy, we need friendship. I certainly do as a celibate priest, and I think single people do as well as a celibate single person. And so it's important that we have those relationships no matter what vocation. So anyways, right. I know that was long-winded, but I hope it's helpful to all the single people out there.
Yeah, it's important to speak to that too, just because people, we obviously we have a lot more examples of it outright, and I think there's some there can be misconceptions about it as well, and so I'm glad that you spoke to that in the way that you did, which is very good. Okay, so we have come to the end here of the Digital Foyer. So what we're going to do, we do every week here, we have a sock competition. So every week, the people here in the Digital Foyer, they often have funny socks, where it's a bit of a competition to see who has the more, the funnier or the better socks. We have a little vote on them. So in just a few moments, I'll get them to show their socks. But last week, what happened was that we had, there was a tag team effort here. Father Simon and Father Alex both had socks with St. Benedict on them. Not the parish, the person, the guy himself. Because it was the Canonized Saint. It was his feast day last week, right? It was a special day where we celebrated him specifically on a Sunday. It's not going to happen very much, which was great. And then the competition was Jonathan had socks with, there were cats with laser beams coming out of their eyes. And if you don't believe me, or if that sounds crazy, go back on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SaintBP, and check it out, because they're really there. And I don't know, I want a couple pairs for myself, I think, at this point. Now, unfortunately for Jonathan, he didn't win, because the power of saints and priests and all the good Catholic stuff, it overpowered the socks with lasers coming out of their eyes. It might need more sorry, I may have missaid that. Regardless, the cats need more lasers to compete with saints and with the priests. So
those socks were wicked.
Yes, they were. It's true. Okay, so gentlemen, show your socks. Maybe we'll go Father Simon first.
All right, so
champion.
This is, I hope, kind of funny, kind of serious. If you listen to my homily, these socks reveal the state of my soul.
Okay.
So they're actually, you got to catch them here,
Okay.
Little angels and these little devils. And so as I said, in my heart is both good and bad. Good. I'm a work in progress, so there you go. I can't remember who gave me these, but they're awesome. So
I got to admit,
that's my.
Those are wicked.
Yeah, there you go.
The left side is wicked. The right side is
righteous.
Yeah,
good and righteous.
Yeah, in a nice way.
Deacon Dave,
okay, well,
what do we have sock-wise here?
Celebration. Speaking of the soccer, I have on my Halifax Wanderer socks.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Compliments of the Finlayson family, Dave and Jen and his mom Kate, because for the first time in 14 months, 16 months, the Wanderers are playing their first home game August 2nd here in Halifax.
Very big news there. So we had the Euros last weekend. The Wanderers are coming back to play. I think Ted Lasso Season 2 is coming out soon. It's not an endorsement. I just know it's happening. Anyway, so there we go. So
Speaking of soccer, I should just say quickly, if you're wondering where is Father Alex, last Sunday, his team, Italy, won the Euro Cup.
Right.
And he went on such a poutine bender that he just needed to take the whole week off.
Yeah.
So pray for him, for his recovery.
Yes.
He's gonna be fine.
He is gorged and quite happy, which is good. Good for Father Alex. He's there. I think he's taking some time.
Viva Italia.
He's taking some time in the wilderness to pick some berries and things to kind of work that off instead. Right. I think, right? Yeah, he's going to surviving off of that. So go ahead and vote now. Do you want to vote for the soccer socks, which is fun to say, or do you want to vote for the duality of man socks in Father Simon? What he has. So you vote for those. That's going to do it for us here in the Digital Foyer. But the fun continues with SVP Kids Online Church with Laura. Take it away.